guys, what's up? It's Rachel and I am your Tuesdays here on AIF. So this week is Childhood Week, and so I am going to commence to tell you my entire childhood in a span of about 3 minutes, maybe more, maybe less. So the first memory I have as a child is the weirdest thing ever. I was 2 years old and I used to have these red plaid pajamas that were my favorite things on the planet. I was sitting at the top of my stairs. No, I had to be 3. I was 3 years old. And I remember that when I turned 4, my parents told me I was not allowed to suck my thumb anymore. And so I was almost 4 years old, but I was still 3, and I was sitting at the top of these stairs in these red plaid pajamas, and I stuck my thumb in my mouth, and I immediately just pull it out, and I go, oops, no more sucking my thumb, because I thought I was the coolest thing, because I was gonna be 4, and I was not allowed to suck my thumb. That's my first memory. The second memory I have a lot of memories, but only a few stand out in my mind very distinctly. I was living in Dallas, and we used to have our house and then a vacant lot, and there were some trees and stuff with a bunch of ant piles, and then there was another vacant lot on this side, and there was like a ton of ant piles, like super concentrated in one area. And my mother always told us, she was like, you can't play there, because she didn't want to have to clean fire ants off of us. We didn't want fire ants. It was just a no-go. And I was 4 again. And I don't know why I wanted to play there, but I did. But I remember I fell into all these ant piles, and I had ants literally all over me, and I was screaming bloody murder. My mom was screaming bloody murder, and she grabbed the hose and just starts hosing me violently. And yeah, it was pretty bad. Fast forward 2 years, and now I'm living in Connecticut, and I'm 6 years old. And my dad wants to build me a treehouse. Actually, more like I want my dad to build me a treehouse. So he's building me a treehouse. Probably 20 feet off the ground, nothing ridiculous, but a treehouse nonetheless. And it has a trapdoor, and it's great. And so far, he has only built the platform and not the walls. And he was up there building, and I just decided I wanted to go up in my treehouse. And so I was like, hey, Dad, can I come up? He was like, sure, daughter, come on up. So I climb the ladder and I go up, and I'm standing on this platform. I literally think I am on top of the world. It's the greatest thing ever. And my mother walks outside and sees me 20 feet in the air with no walls around me, and she was livid. It was interesting. So still 6 years old, and it's probably a couple months later, and we go to New York City because we were only about an hour away. And honestly, we went to New York a couple times, and I only remember one time because it was really cloudy that day, and so I really wanted to go in the Empire State Building again, because I remember it was probably like my second or third time in New York. And I really wanted to go in the Empire State Building again, but we couldn't because it was cloudy. But we ended up going to the toy store there, which has a Ferris wheel inside of it, which as a 6-year-old is probably the coolest thing ever. As a 15-year-old, still probably the coolest thing ever. So we rode this Ferris wheel, and then my mother told us that we could have any toy, just one. And so I went straight for the Barbie dream house, but she said that was too big. And so I found a stuffed animal, which is a husky, and I named it Bronco. And then I fought on the train with my dad the whole way home because he insisted that the Broncos were a football team, and I was angry because the Broncos were not a football team. The Broncos were my new stuffed animal. So fast forward again, and I am now 7 years old and living in Houston, and it is summer in Houston, and we had started building a pool in our backyard. And when the construction was complete, you have to fill it up with hose water first. So we had the hose in there like the whole night, and then it only filled the pool up halfway. And our pool is only 5 feet because my mom isn't very good at swimming. So it's filled up halfway with hose water, which is freezing cold. And it's the middle of the day. And so my brother and I run out there, and we were swimming in the hose water in like this probably like 3 foot deep pool. And it sounds really pathetic when I think back on it, but we thought it was the best thing ever. I don't really have any memories that stick out crazy in my head, probably until I was in middle school. And middle school was awful. Middle school was probably the worst time period for me, and I feel like middle school is probably pretty bad for everyone. But middle school was honestly, I felt so insecure about myself and about my body and about who I was. And that is a lot to have on a 12 and 13-year-old mind. And I didn't really know how to handle any of it, and I became a child with issues. But looking back, I'm glad it happened because I know a lot more now. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I remember I would stand, we had gym first period, and I would get ready after gym, and I would just stand in the mirror and I would just look at my thighs, and I would just be like, get smaller, get smaller, get smaller, get smaller. And obviously my mind tricks never worked because they didn't really ever get smaller. And high school is now. So that's basically my childhood in probably a little bit more than 3 minutes. I have no idea who would want to watch this video and hear me ramble about when I was a kid, but if you did, thank you. And yeah, subscribe. I make new videos every day, and check out all the links below. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye!